Hi, welcome back to Future Fast. And we continue to have Archana Ravi with us. And for those of you who are here for the first time, you have missed the first part of the conversation where she shares her journey, which is quite interesting because it's not that she came straight into fashion space and then became an entrepreneur. So you got to listen to it. She started off her career in customer support, banking, telecom, insurance, and then worked for a software company, and then the present avatar. So it's not been a very linear journey. So you will find it interesting. So do catch up on that. And with that, once again, Archana, thank you so much for
Thank you.
being part of Future Fast. Uh,
Thank you.
so we did talk about. I mean, you did mention how you got started with
Slowthreads.
Slowthreads. So where did the name come from? How did you arrive at this name?
I think the name, I wanted the brand to identify with being a slow fashion brand. I did so that we were kind of thinking through, what were the names that we could really think of. And somewhere, because it was slow fashion, we're working with textiles, and there is this whole journey, there's this whole story that's related to, fabric and, threads and all of that. So we dabbled with different names, and then I somehow Slowthreads kind of stuck in my head, and I thought Slowthreads is not something that you hear very commonly. When I say Slowthreads, the first thing and one thing is it instantly catches people's attention. They ask me, "What is Slowthreads?" and why Slowthreads? And then I tell them it helps me build a story. Tell them that Slowthreads because it's a slow fashion brand, and we're working only with textiles and so on and so forth. And I think it started there. Uh, I I don't think there was anything else to it aside from that. I wanted it to really stand for slow fashion, and so I thought slow threads. The easiest way to think of a slow fashion brand when you say slow and then when you say threads and bring that together.
So can you share what slow fashion from your perspective with our
Yeah.
listeners, audience, and I'm also so why slow fashion?
So fashion, you have fast fashion and then you have slow fashion, and then the fashion has multi facets to it. And I think what is very commonly seen as fast fashion, and when I say fast fashion, you have many designs. There are new designs by every week you see new designs, multiple products by a brand, and multiple product lines as well. So I think that kind of fashion, what happens is there's an impact. There's an impact on the people making it. There's an impact on the environment, all of that. And why? When we say why, this kind of fashion is available at a cost, and but the cost to the customer buying it is very low. The person that's buying it is buying it at a very massively discounted price, and without even knowing the impact it has. As a chain, what happens is what's paid to the person making it is lower, and then what is also being done.
Idea is it's mass produced, right? So
Correct.
probably
So
somebody who's making a collar is only making collar while somebody else is doing the sleeves. So in that context,
so
it's okay, right?
what really happens is that the person who's making the collar, maybe he's deserved, let's but he does make, maybe he could probably make 50 collars in a day, but he's made to make 100 collars in a day. Similarly, he could be paid, let's say, and this is all at a high level, if he's being paid 10 bucks per collar, while he should be paid probably 20 bucks per collar. So what's really happening is you're exploiting that particular resource so that he can produce more, and you can produce and give people more pieces. They have more. Basically, what does tend to happen with fast fashion is it's mass produced, it's produced at lower rates. So there's nothing there, and garments are made with the intention to not last long. And this is so that brands can produce more and more, and people can buy more and more. It's pushing consumption, and whether it's essential or not, whether that consumption is reasonable or not. The problem is overconsumption right now. Why is there scarcity otherwise? It's because of overconsumption. I hope you're okay, Nigel. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Ye-
uh, but majority of our customers can only afford that, right? I mean, because
that is the flip side to fashion. What happens with fast fashion is fast fashion has made fashion more accessible to the masses. So that's the plus side. But it is made it accessible to you, but there's also someone else at the other end of the chain who's suffering because of that, because he doesn't get paid fairly. He's overworked. He's made to make many more pieces than, or overwork and make himself, basically he's exploited to kind of help the businesses grow. But at the end of the day, he doesn't benefit from it. Also, what tends to happen is since you're not making garments to last anymore, at some point in time, they were made to last and they were handed down across generations. So you buy something, you wear it for a longer time, you wear it again and again. There was nothing wrong with repeating an outfit. It was very normal. But also what happened was there was value attached to something that came at an expense, which was expensive. There was a value for craftsmanship. There was value for effort. And then when it got handed down to the daughter, the granddaughter, or anybody else for that matter, there was value attached to that as well, because it was it had that value. It had lived that life. On the other hand, what you have right now is I buy something for $500, lasts me for few washes, 2 or 3 washes. By then it's faded, jaded, and what am I doing? I'm throwing it. Either I throw it, which all leads to the landfill, or I just throw it. I don't even use it. It's passed down either to my maid, she wears it for a while, and then again it gets thrown around. So what's happening is there's the landfills are filled with clothing that's made in excess. So when I say difference between slow fashion and fast fashion, with slow fashion, what we're trying to do is we're trying not to really add to that whole problem by making only in small batches, because you don't need to consume as much clothing. You don't need to buy 5 outfits.
So are you saying the slow fashion clothing will last for generations, like those saris and things like that?
It will, if you take care of it like you did with the saris. So what do we do right now? We buy something, we put it in the washing machine, we just let it run its course, and then we are done with it. We don't do that with saris. We actually take good care of our saris. If you have women in your family who do wear saris, we've never done that. Saris never go into the wash. They always go to either the dry cleaner or they're hand washed by yourself. So if you take that care, your clothing will last the line. Because you're buying the kind of clothing that I work with is hand woven clothing. Hand woven clothing is not meant to be put in the wash just like that, because they're hand woven. They're made by hand. They're not made by machines. So their structure is made loosely. It's comfortable because it's made with natural fabrics and so on and so forth. Also, the fabric is, it's not built in such a way that it will go through the rigors of a washing machine. So you will take care, like how you did with silk saris back in the day. What did you do with them? You didn't put them in the washing machine. You took good care of it because you wanted it to last forever. And then you passed it on. So ideally, anything that's made sustainably with no chemicals, or with least, you can't say no chemicals anymore, because nobody's really doing natural dyes anymore. People use just low impact dyes that you use and all of that. But if you make them that way, the person who's wearing it, the person who's making it, all of them stand to gain in the chain. But the problem is it's not accessible because it's not common anymore. This is no longer common. Synthetic dyes are common because they're cheaper, way cheaper. It's easier to make something, mass produce it, make it cheaper, and the company makes a profit out of it. On the other hand, if I make something where I make them only in small batches, my costs are going up. I make them with natural fabrics, proper organic fabrics, my cost goes up. And at the end of the day, who's able to buy it? Very few people are able to buy it, because very few people are making organic products. Very few people are really making hand-woven products, and very few people are buying hand-woven products because they don't believe in the craftsmanship anymore. It's about...
But hand-woven is a luxury statement, right? Today, very much. It's not really...
Exactly. But can you think of the time when khadi was not necessarily luxury, but it was also a fairly more, common fabric to use? I think it's...
Well, 2 things, right? One, at that time, what I remember reading is that the argument was that British had left and we had a lot of people. We didn't have enough industries and jobs. So there was a push for khadi more so from a point of employment. So it was not really a choice of design or sensibility, but need of employability. that drove that. But is that
Was it a luxury back then, though?
no?
At that point in time,
See, at that time, that is the only thing available then, and
correct,
deliberately made available also, right? But which
correct.
did get displaced with all these mills coming in, right? Mills
Yes,
took over and they made it a lot cheaper. So after that,
yes.
and also, I think even though khadi stores are still there, government things, but majority of them, the finish is not good. That style component is missing. The design elements are weak. So
So don't you think that's also because of what is being made out of the khadi that's available and the way it's being made? So, for example, what I am working with right now is rustic cotton, which is a desi breed of cotton, which is just regular cotton, and it's hand woven, but it's also the if the fabric is woven the right way, the texture is nice, it falls in a certain way, and then if you add the elements of design in terms of also you're choosing the right kind of colors, which appeals to most,
but you say
it
you
isn't
are getting
boring.
it from Kutch,
Yeah,
Gujarat.
I am. Yeah, I am.
So,
I work.
so
I work
in
with
some
weavers.
ways, it is not really sustainable, right? Because you're actually getting it shipped.
Carbon emission, and I mean, it's coming by road, but yeah, if you see that way, can
Not
commerce
able
really
to
thrive?
source anything locally, which would
I
make it a lot more sustainable, right?
So if I look at the I think for my brand, what really worked for me, and it wasn't just about, it was, sustainability is one thing. I wanted it to be mindful, which is one thing, but the way we're making it and the fabric and all of that. But also what worked for me is the fact that this fabric, the way it felt for me, and for what I had in mind in terms of our design, the design process and the way I wanted it to look
So,
with
who
my
was
designs,
the
it
customer
blended
that
well.
you make it for then? Uh, I mean, whatever that appeals to you, you said. So, who's your slow thread customer? Typical slow thread customer is.
Majority of my customers are women in the age of 30 to 60, and some of my, yeah,
That's
30 to
actually
60.
three generations pretty much.
Yes,
Why do you say
30
30
to
to 60?
60.
Why not 30 to
So
40 or 40 to 50 or 50 to
third so I have almost equal number of customers depending on the cities that I get them
First of all,
from.
you make
So
Western clothes, right?
I only make Western clothes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then 30 to 60 is too broad, right? And is there so many 30 to 60 for Western clothes?
So what I would say is that I have probably a fair chunk of customers who range in the 40 to 50 age, a fair chunk, the majority of them. But I also have customers who range. So if I say, let's say 30% of my customers could be in the 40 to 50, and then I might find 20% in 30 to 40, and so on and so forth. So, but what I've really found is majority of my customers are women in their 40s to 50s, the majority of them. But that doesn't mean the others. So that's why I said the whole range of women who generally buy from my brand are this, this range, this age group. And the kind of women who buy
From where?
are
Is it sold only in Tamil Nadu, Chennai, or are you selling
majority
across
of my
India?
customers are not across India. So I'm right now I've predominantly focused only on South, and that's in cities like Bangalore.
Okay.
I have a customer base where in Bangalore, majority of my customers are in 30 to 40.
Okay.
And if I go to Cochin, they are between, some of them 35 to, 45. If I come to Chennai, they're from 50 to 65.
Chennai, 50 to 65.
Yes. So my oldest customers, and that's a major chunk of my customers, are in their 60s. So late 50s to 60s.
What is a best-selling slow thread product?
There's something called a shirt dress. So it's a shirt dress and there are kaftans. There are two things that sell really well. The kaftans, they're quite, I think as a design, kaftans are fairly popular. And our take on the kaftan is
that's something exclusively slow thread product.
The design is exclusively the design we have for a kaftan. The kaftans are it's very common. They're very popular. Globally as well, not just in India. The kaftan as a design is very popular because it's very comfortable. It's more loungewear. You can wear it wherever you want.
And also among the plus size, you said, is that the one?
So the kaftans are popular amongst everybody because the good thing about the kaftan is it is designed in such a way that it's flattering on the most petite person to the most plus size woman. So the probably the largest size that we have custom made for a customer would have been more than triple XL, So we've done it for a customer. Yeah. So somebody who wanted
But
it, and
most of
it
your
looked fabulous
customers
on them.
are plus size?
It's a mix. I have customers who are petite, who are plus sized, who are in their 30s, who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s. I think the good thing is we cover every range, but the most importantly, it's for women who are probably more mature because they're not comfortable really walking in a strappy sleeveless dress, but they want to wear something that's a dress. So it gives them that comfort of being, like they feel comfortable wearing our shirt dresses because it's not really a strappy outfit. It's not something that a person in her 20s might wear, but it's also something that a person in her 20s might wear, but more so women in their 40s and 50s wear, Hello. Yeah. So that's kind of what we're going for, and that's the kind of customer base that I have as well. So women in this age group, mostly women in the tier 1, tier 2 cities, and India 1. The categorization of our customers is India 1, unfortunately, and not India 2 yet, because the affordability of the product, considering sustainable products come at a certain price range, they're not affordable for everyone. I wish I could make it more affordable.
So the brands you can compare your brand with in terms of pricing and positioning?
Pricing, I mean, there are brands like Nicobar is, I mean, that price range, Nicobar 4,000, 5,000. I think a lot like Nicobar, we are more expensive than Fab India because I don't think Fab India is as sustainable. I mean, they do even synthetics and all of that. They do a blend. So now I think they also cater to the masses. They want to do that. So they also have lines which are, fairly more sustainable, but they also have this. But we are more expensive than Fab India, but we are in the lines of Nicobar. We are in the lines of, there's a brand called Why So Blue Love. So like that, on that range, and that price range. They're all meant to be ethical brands. So Nicobar is more, I would say, is a more premium brand. So, in that price range, we're more or less on that price range. So, but we're really not in the range of a fast fashion brand. So I wouldn't say, if you compare us with something like an H&M prices their stuff at 1,900 and 2,000 and so on and so forth. And they're all within that range. And they also have things that, price upwards, but majorly they kind of fit into this price range. So you'll find women in their 20s, college goers who've just started working are able to afford that. Now, most of my customers are women who've been working for a while, who belong to a certain.
What is a Slowthread story to them that makes them buy this? What is the story that you?
I think what I did intentionally is, when we worked on the how I wanted my brand to be seen, I wanted my brand to represent all kinds of women and not just models. So I've been very conscious of that, and I don't know, I've had a bit of a backlash once in a way when it comes to that. So what we did is, when we did a photo shoot, it's always been regular women and not models. We were conscious of that. I wanted it to be that way because my problem with fashion is that when I buy something, yes, I look at a model and I'm picking it up, but then it looks nothing, like that on me. I want regular women to be wearing it, and I've got this feedback from my customers as well. Yeah.
So your story from a model point of view, you continue to choose your own customers as models, or?
I've chosen customers as models. I've chosen people I know as models. I've chosen women to represent all sizes. I've chosen women to represent all ages. So
you mentioned backlash. Why would that?
So I wouldn't say backlash really. So what really happened is, I think what's happened, the retail ecosystem works very differently. So when you're trying to get yourself onto marketplaces, when you're trying to,
online digital marketplaces.
Online digital marketplaces, multi-brand platforms. So what really happens is, and it's a known fact, that they prefer having perfect faces, perfect models. They don't want people who are not experienced. Basically, they don't want regular faces because they want people who know to model, and because they feel that sells better. Now, as a brand, because I am a sustainable brand and I am an inclusive brand, what I did look for before choosing a platform is I wanted to be on a platform that was authentic, that was inclusive, and that was sustainable, because I wanted it to kind of mirror our values and our ethos and all of that. In the process, I was speaking to someone. They're a well-known, platform, and I don't want to take names because I don't think, it makes any difference now. So we had this whole discussion. We went through the whole process. Everything was almost done. In the end, at the time of, the product going live, though, it seemed, I don't know why they didn't notice it before that. And they came back saying they were not happy with the images. And I said, okay. So I said, okay, let me fix it. Tell me what's wrong with it. And they said, no, we're not happy with the models. And, somewhere I think that ticked me off a lot because, I don't know, I feel like it's very, if they had told me, the quality of your images aren't great, get
So
that.
you probably expected that. And
I expected that. And they said they were unhappy. They were not happy with the models I had chosen. And I went back fighting, saying that my brand stands for being authentic. And when I say authentic, I have regular women like me, you, or anybody else representing my brand. And I do not intend to change that because that's how I see it. Now,
so that is part of your storytelling as well, to connect.
That is part of my storytelling because, and I think that's what's appealed to my customers. A lot of my customers who
Did
buy
they come back to you telling that?
Yeah. So I had people tell me, you know what I really like about what you're doing in terms of the models you have is you have regular people. So I know how it can look on someone like me. It's not someone who has a perfect body, a perfect face, and it looks fabulous on them. And then I buy it. And
isn't fashion all about aspirational thing that you see yourself like a star? That's the fashion part, right?
But isn't that what everybody else is selling? So what happens to you is then what's happening is you're picking up something because it's aspiration. But then, it doesn't look anything like it did look on that person. And what is it doing? It's making me feel worse about myself. I've experienced it firsthand. I go online, I see something, it looks amazing on somebody, and then I try it. And I've literally, till I started my own brand, I think I've literally beat myself up about how I've felt about myself in my body. I have felt not good enough. It looked great on her, it doesn't look good on me because I don't think I look good enough. And I think it kind of sends that messaging very subtly, that you're not good enough. Though maybe that's definitely not the brand's intention. Their intention is to sell this. They are selling the aspiration. They are selling that story that you will look fabulous, as good as this model if you wear our clothes. Well, it's nothing like that because you wear it and you feel absolutely frustrated that you don't fit into it, that you are not good enough. And I'm very vehement about that one aspect. And it's made me very angry because I think it's a personal journey that I've had. And hence, I wanted my brand not to say that at all. And I've been very conscious about what we do in terms of the kind of models that we have on our page. And I don't know if commercially it's sensible for me to do this.
And you sell mostly online, right? And in the exhibitions.
Online exhibitions and Instagram. So online, of course, I must say that my website doesn't have much traction because I need to market it better. But then when I meet people, when I do an exhibition, and I think that's where I've gotten my most amount of feedback. Women come up to me and say, oh, you know what, I follow your page. And, I really like the women wearing your outfits. And what I do is I only share stories of my customers wearing it. Majority, if you go into our Instagram page, I share stories of my actual customers, and my customers love, and I haven't seen that very often. And I was thinking, is it just that I'm luckier, or is it a conscious choice for brands not to, because I'm sure all of them have wonderful customers, they're big brands who have big fans, customers who go back and buy from them again and again. But and it doesn't take me long. Most of the time, I might just say, do you think when you wear it, you could share it? And the first thing they do is when they wear it, they take a picture and they share it. And then it's such a good feeling because they, you've kind of made their day. They enjoyed wearing your outfit. And I put only posts of my customers wearing the outfit. And that's how I've got my sales online on Instagram.
What would growth and scale mean to Slowthreads then?
I think it's going to be a long journey, considering
what number would mean it's the scale? Because see, one is you're saying it's artisanal, handmade, and the whole process is small batches by choice.
Yeah.
So how would scale and growth align to a by choice small batch and artisanal, which is essentially handmade, and chosen fabric, which will perhaps even be limiting the supply side? So how do you see
Me
you
scaling.
scale and growth with these things? I mean, it's a self-imposed constraints, right? It's not external constraints. So you put constraints to yourself. And given this, how do you see the scale happen here?
I don't see myself or our brand being a mass-produced brand ever. And I don't think so. I'll tell you, a brand
So
like
what would growth for Slowthread mean
growth
if
for
you don't?
Slowthreads would just mean we reach more people in more cities, and probably instead of, I would probably, for me, growth, and I think this is more personal to me. And if probably we see outside looked at it and saw the numbers and they said, oh, what, how does she say this is growth? I think for me, for Slowthreads, if I have at some point been able to reach at least about 50,000 customers, I think I'd be happy, and I'd say that is growth.
50,000 in a day, week, month?
In a year, if I reach 50,000, I'm happy. If I reach 50,000 customers in a year, as in they buy our products, I think if I start, for me, that itself is growth, because growth for a sustainable brand and for the scale at which I am currently operating it isn't easy. And the way I'm functioning, I'm saying I'm going to be a sustainable brand. I will make it small batch produce. So which means I do not intend to be mass producing. I don't intend to put a lot of designs out there. There are brands that have 60,000 designs and 20,000 designs. I'm never going to be that brand. I don't think I intend to be that brand at all at any point in time. I may.
This sounds, I mean, it could well be like a hobbyist then, right? I mean, you don't want to be bigger than that.
Why should every brand only aspire to reach the 50 crore or a 100 crore club? Why is it essential? Why can a brand not exist, cater to women and make them happier every day, and then as a brand grow as well, and but in a sustainable, organic manner without
So
really hitting big
your
numbers?
50,000 numbers would mean, let's say 20 cities, totally 50,000. And
I was just at a high level.
the price range of around 5,000 rupees, and
yeah,
you're happy with that.
So, Nanju, I'm not really looking at, I haven't really done the math to say, 5,000.
No, I'm just
I don't, what I am really trying to convey here is that now as I'm working through this brand, I'm not really, if you ask me, I'm not looking at it in a typical manner of seeing growth and saying, I will do these many numbers, I will acquire so many customers, I will do so many more pieces. All I want is for our brand to be able to reach a lot more women. Or other men eventually, hopefully, and reach a lot more customers. And basically for them to experience this whole thing of being able to wear something, feel great in it, like it, for it to last long enough for them to pass it on to people. And for me, eventually, at some point, to be able to, recycle, resell what we are giving out, so that it's not just that new people are buying. It's also that people who aren't able to pick up a Slowthreads new outfit are able to pick up an older outfit of Slowthreads through a resell, process or whatever. So I don't see myself being a big brand, which is probably, appearing on the likes of Myntra, who have made a lot of, sales. I don't think I see myself doing that.
A boutique, and you're happy in the boutique.
Would it really be boutique if you're reaching across India? I don't know. I mean, boutique is probably more
maybe
local.
see, in a digital space, it's a digital boutique, if you will, right? I mean, if in a sense, the small but 50,000 is still a big number.
Yeah.
To talk about as a boutique or even as small batches, because 50,000, if you have to do it's actually quite a size.
So that's the difference you'll make, isn't it? So right now I work with one weaver. Instead, I will be able to work with more weavers. So which means, so what I do right now is, so whenever there's a need, my weaver also engages women in his village and they do embroidery for us. Or, I would just work with that one weaver. If I have a requirement, which is something that he alone cannot manage, he involves few more weavers into the system, and they all weave for us. So I think the good thing is it's not just that opportunity for that one person. There are more people involved in the process. So if you look at Okai, who are a lot bigger, they are sustainable. They are working with more women.
So what are your challenges in this space? I remember when we were talking before we started recording, you said there are more challenges than opportunities. So what are the challenges that you have right now?
One, of course, the first thing, of course, is the cost. There is limited awareness or demand for slow fashion because slow fashion is not the norm. It's a personal choice. I can choose to be, picking up a slow fashion brand, but it's not the norm.
Some days ago, I think some couple of years back, I think some friend commented, this has become a fad, fast food to slow food, fast fashion to slow fashion. So,
but do you really think it's a fad? Do you?
That's my question. So, do you? How do you cater to this sense of people? Because see, there is fashion, and then fast fashion from a point of scale. They are able to churn out so many.
Yeah.
So here, one by design, right? I mean, it is artisanal. You cannot be churning out so many because the process just doesn't allow. So, so that is where slow fashion. But do you see what is your customers telling you that what is it that they like? They like the concept of slow fashion, or they actually like that your representation of a normal model, not a zero size model, right? I mean, it's someone who looks
just like the rest of us.
Rest of us. Is that, or is it the design aspects of your product?
In fact, I was intending to touch upon that in my opportunities, and I think I should, I can anyway talk about it now. While the flip side is that, slow fashion is more expensive and it's not the norm, it's not normalized. What's normalized is buying frequently, and fast fashion is normalized because it's affordable. People can buy it, and there is peer pressure. People, you're looking at your peers, they're all buying massively, and then you are wanting to be as good as, you want to dress like them. It's all aspirational, like you were just saying a while back. The only, like, when I talk about opportunities, and what I think really helps is you use design as a tool to, create stickiness in customers. In my case, I feel like my designs really appeal to the clients, and that not just I feel, in fact, that's the feedback I've got from my customers. So I've had customers, majority of them who buy from us, who wear it and say, you know what, when I looked at it, I never thought it looked this great on me, but it looks fabulous on me and it feels so comfortable. The first thing I hear is comfort. And this comfort comes from many things. One is the way it's designed. Two is the fabric I've intentionally chosen, which is Kala cotton, which is comfortable. It's cotton, it's airy. And as I was talking about.
But others can also get the fabric, right? I mean, I'm just asking.
They can. So in fashion, do you really think there's innovation at this moment in time? In your personal, opinion, unless you are substantially altering the way the industry works, which is through, like I was talking about Doodle Age, I really like what they're doing. Right. Because they're upcycling, they're literally using what's available and trying to redesign it. And I think that is aspirational for me. But other than that, you look at every brand. Can you tell me if any brand stands out?
How will you retain your customer? So if in that sense, right? Because so design, fabric, then
who you're representing through
your storytelling, through
yes,
normal looking, not the not the star looking model representation, and lastly the very narrative of slow fashion from a artisanal small batch, blah blah. So if
can I be honest, that sells very less.
So that's not really a selling aspect then.
That is never sold my garments with my customers.
So yeah, you mentioned that you started thinking very late about selling, so you should start thinking about it first. So today, what do you focus on then? If it is not the slow fashion that sells, what sells? What is the story that you tell for your customer then?
People want to be part of a community, and people want to be part of a community where they can be themselves. And, in my
So it's not
brand,
about slow fashion, but it's about be your own self.
it's be your own self, and also, feel great feel great the way you are. And sometimes, people who are plus sized or wherever, petite or whatever, anything at all, people who
No,
are
but you are
older.
not really talking to plus size as such, right? You don't.
I'm not talking to plus
So,
size. I'm not talking,
so
but my messaging is that we're for everyone. My story is more in the line of, this is for people who, who don't want to go out there and pick up something because it looks great on perfect bodies or perfect faces alone. It's for someone who wants to be comfortable in their skin. They may not be necessarily as.
which other brand is talking like this? I'm just curious. So, are there brands who say you don't have to be perfect size? I mean, I don't
I
know what the
think,
perfect size is, but
yeah,
zip size is from a filmy language, right? They talk about size zero as a module. But are there other brands who?
in general, most brands don't say, that they are. I don't think many brands say that. A lot of brands say that they are meant for everyone. They are inclusive in terms of the way their designs
So,
work.
given that, how do you stand out from your
Differentiate.
communication standpoint?
When I look at a brand, what do I look for? I look for, one, the people who are wearing it. If they like it, what are they talking about? Are they telling that they enjoy wearing what they're wearing? Does it make me look good in that outfit? And does it make me feel comfortable wearing it? This is how I look at something when I look at a fashion brand, when I'm buying something, that's what I look for.
I've heard that women don't dress to please a man, but women dress to
For
please a woman.
themselves.
This is what I heard. I mean, women are more conscious of what they're wearing, from the conscious being that another woman looking at her. She doesn't really care another man looking at her. So,
I'll kind of need to agree partially. I mean, I think what happens is it's again peer pressure. I do want to look good, and I want my friend to come up to me and say, you know what, it looks fabulous on you. And
so your
all my
girlfriend to say,
customers,
not the boyfriend to say, right?
absolutely. So my
So,
customers have done that.
so given that, how because see, I remember having a conversation with a friend who I think she got into some other business. Now she used to run a boutique. She particularly one category. I don't want to tell more about it because it becomes easy to spot. So she was telling me she had very marquee customers, as in celebrity customers.
Mm.
And they would not want to let anybody know that they are getting it from her, because they don't want
They
people
don't
in
want
their circle
to
also
wear
to
the
come
same,
there, so that they wanted
don't
that.
wear the same outfit.
So given this scenario, it's a problem for you, right? I mean, if is that a problem? I mean, she actually
Why
said
is
it's a
it?
problem. It's a
Because
good
hers
thing,
is
but at the
her
same time,
brand is probably pitched differently. I mean, you said they're celebrities.
no,
Therein lies the therein
they don't
lies
want to be talking about her. They don't want to be talking about her brand because they don't want.
other people
They,
wearing the same outfit. So exactly. So that's where I was saying. You mentioned that they are celebrities. Now celebrities are out and about. They are being clicked by paparazzi. They're out. They
no, but
don't want.
they're not these size people, right? I mean, they are recognized people. They are personality.
Correct. Correct. But then there they want exclusivity. But that your friend probably runs a luxury premium exclusive brand, while mine's not a exclusive brand
So
which
you
is
don't
only.
have that problem where people don't want to talk about what they bought, where they.
No, most of my customers, and majority of them from Chennai, in fact, they wear it. They actually got together and they all wore Slowthreads, but they all wore different outfits, for Slowthreads. So I've had this, feedback that comes from my
So is
customers.
that that's a positive thing?
It
Because
is.
sometimes, see, even in a small batch, if you do, it's very difficult for you to do 10 of different things within a batch, right? Because they don't want to be looking similar,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they want. So how do
So
you handle this challenge?
if you think about other brands which are popular, they have who mass produce. Even if you take fast
So
fashion,
there it's easy, right?
then
They can
see
always put
they'll all be wearing. So there could be 100 people wearing the same kind of outfit. But in my case, we are already small batch produced. We don't make 100 pieces of that. We'll probably make 10 in each color or in combination and so on and so forth. So there is some amount of exclusivity, though it's not probably like if 10 people decide to pick up the same color, yes, it will be there. But I can't really expect to.
No, but you can't, being a small, you can't offer so much of range also, right? That's
We have, I mean, what we have just about 30 designs, and then in that we probably have another 30 variations in terms of colors.
Okay. But
Yeah.
that's quite a bit of range, right?
Yeah. So 30 designs and 30 because 30 designs is nothing, Anju, and that's what I was saying. Like H&M does 25,000 designs. So, that's where I'm coming from. So yes, you may call me a boutique brand in terms of how my presence is online, because we are a small, if you intend to be truly as mindful or as sustainable as possible, it's not really possible for you to scale, because here you're talking about mindful consumption. So when I say mindful consumption, can I overproduce? Then I'm going back on what I really stand for. So I can never be that. And I don't intend to be that. So which is why when I said, 50,000, that was just a ballpark
How
number.
do you encourage this behavior? Are you going to say that if you come back wearing my product after a year, I'll give you 10% discount, but if you come back wearing the same product after 2 years, I'll give you 20%? I mean,
No,
how do
I
you...
can't. I don't think I have that kind of reach or scale or impact that,
No,
I
just,
do that.
I mean, you don't have to be 10 and 20%. No, I'm just saying that how will you motivate somebody to use it for an extended period of time? Is that part of your...
That, considering, you're paying, so for example, if I pick up something that's not priced, in hundreds and is priced at a premium, I think automatically what does tend to happen is I take a lot more care of the product. And I don't think it's a result of what I'm intending for, for it to happen. But actually what's happening is if I pay a premium, then I will take better care of that product because I've spent a premium on that particular product. And I have customers who do that. They only wash it by hand. And I'm not saying all of them do that, but they prefer taking a lot of care, and they only wear Slowthreads when there is a special occasion. They don't just wear it randomly. They take it out when they have that special occasion. They take it out for that day when they go out with their friends. They've traveled. So one of them traveled. So she wasn't comfortable putting pictures on social media. She traveled. She bought it from me a while back and I never heard back from her. So I assume, okay, she wasn't probably as happy. I just let it be. So recently she wore it only now, and it's been almost a year since she bought it from me because she kept it for a special occasion. She traveled abroad with some friends. She was in love with it. She sent a message, through another customer who's a very loyal customer of mine, saying, everyone complimented. They wanted to know where I bought it from. I really would give me her number. I don't have a number anymore. I want them to reach out to Slowthreads because I think they really write the designs and it made an impact. And, that's kind of what I want to hear back. I don't care about not doing, 1,000 pieces in one go or 10,000 pieces in one go. That's not what I aim to do. I think what I want from this brand is very different from what a person, I'm not a businesswoman, to be honest. I'm not a typical businesswoman. I'm not really looking at only hardcore numbers. I think I'm looking at the experience overall. Like I was saying when I started it out, I want that impact on people. I want people to feel, wow, I mean, I wore it. I've only been hearing compliments and I feel amazing in it. And I think that is my win. Honestly, not, I don't think I'll ever get to the point of scaling, and doing like 20 crores, 100 crores, maybe, I don't know, 20 crores, but at least 100 crores. I don't think I'll ever get to that kind of scale. I don't think, then I will be a slow fashion brand anymore, honestly.
So what would mean Slowthread has become successful? One is you said if it is 50,000.
Yeah.
So if you're selling 50,000 a year.
No, that was again a high level ballpark figure. Nanju, you asked me a number offhand. I've never.
No, okay, forget the number. Okay, yeah. Without the number, what would mean that you think that you've got to a place where you feel very successful and comfortable as with Slowthread?
100,000 customers, and I think I would feel successful, and I would feel like, okay, when we reach 100,000 customers and then we at least have a repeat rate of 40% of these customers coming back and buying from us on an ongoing basis.
40% repeat is like
a lot,
right?
I know. My current repeat rate in Chennai is close to 55% in Chennai because I'm based in Chennai. I do a lot of exhibitions in Chennai.
Even then it's so, yeah. Considering that, I mean, if you are able to achieve that number,
but that's only in Chennai. not anywhere else.
No, but assuming that you will get that 55,000 drop, 55% drops to 40%, as like you say, then if some other bigger brand wants to buy you out, what will you say? I'm just.
If I get bored of doing this, then I would sell. But I would never want to. I've always wanted to be bootstrapped. I don't want to get funding because I feel it'll dilute my
No,
purpose.
but at a point in time, if they come and say, okay, you touch this and we'll think it's a good time, we would want to take over.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I can say that now. I don't know what my frame of mind then will be. I'll probably not want to sell at that point in time because it's grown so much. I may want to run and do more with it. Or the thing with me is after I've done everything, I get bored. And when I get bored, I get very uncomfortable. So which is why I've always done something new, which is like absolutely radically different from what I've always done, you know. So it keeps me going, you know, that I get a high out of uncertainty. You know, I feel good when there's discomfort. Like I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I think that keeps me going in some ways. It's very weird. It's not like I enjoy being stressed, but it just keeps me going. You know, when I don't know what to expect tomorrow, I don't know. I want to try something. Yeah, I'm excited now about Slowthreads because I mean, we're right here, not even at the tip of the iceberg. Like really, we've just started and there's so much opportunity and I'm just excited about that, you know, about trying something.
You must be having friends who are in the fashion space, right? I mean, they qualified in the fashion business, or have you come across people in the fashion business and what do they say looking at Slowthread and your business? I mean, have they criticized you? Are there any such feedback where like, oh, you don't know what you're doing? And
I honestly think I don't know what I'm doing myself. So
no, I'm just.
I'm
Received
living
any
life.
such
I'm living life
comments?
as it comes, and I'm literally. But honestly, I'm literally living life as it comes, and I've always been that way. So I'm taking each day as it comes and doing things in Slowthreads to see what will work. Like I try something today, I'm seeing if it works. I experiment, and then if it works, then I double down on it. And if not, I move away from it and I'm not attached to it. So, but what I have heard is generally, so people look at, you know, the engagement on my brand, I think on the page on Instagram, and there are a lot of customers coming out to, you know, talk about it. They feel like that's good. You know, the engagement is really good. I don't have too many followers. I have barely about 3,000 odd followers, 3,800, which is nothing, you know, in today's day and age. But they like it, they see that and they say that. And the other thing is they look at my website and they say there is no proper call to action. You know, that is something that I'm looking to do this, you know, in the next coming, you know, years. It's because innately, I'm not somebody who tries to sell anything to someone. I've had customers ask me, do you think this dress looks good? And I've told them, no, I don't think it'll look that great on you. And I think maybe when this comes out, I'll tell you and you can, you know, buy it then. So I've done that. I think that's me. And I think that's why they trust my judgment when I tell them something looks good or doesn't look good on them. You know, currently at least, you know, from my brand, I want them to believe that Slowthreads is not trying to shove something down their throat.
So is that going to be an extension of your business, being a stylist as well?
I don't know, Nanju. If, you know, sometimes I wonder if, you know, that's actually a question or if actually you're, you know, really pulling my leg at the moment.
No, it's a question. I mean, you mentioned that that's what you did, right? You advised them not to go for it. So that's the job of a stylist. So do you see that as an opportunity as well?
No, not really. So it's about your messaging, right? What are you trying to say? I am not trying to sell you my product alone. I'm trying to sell you the experience of, you know, it's the experience of, you know, buying something that look good on you. And I don't want you to buy something that you don't.
But why not? I mean, see, today there are businesses which they offer even stylist as a service. So if you have a customer base who are actually a loyal customer base who regard your opinion on how they look, as in if they look good with something or not, then if that opens up, why not? I mean, if I'm just asking whether so you're not really thought through as that could be a possible.
No, honestly not. I didn't. I think it was more an outcome of how I wanted people to experience my brand. I didn't want them to think this was just about selling something to them. I think it was just that. It wasn't about, you know, oh, you know, this, I'll recommend this dress to you. It was more about I'd like you to enjoy what you're buying. I'd like you to like what you're buying. I don't want to shove this down your throat. I want you to like what you're wearing. And this is just my opinion. I tell them that. I think this is my opinion. I think this doesn't look as great on you. I've even done a downsell rather than an upsell sometimes. Like that
So
doesn't look great.
do you also keep track of other solopreneurs like you in the fashion space? And are there anybody you would like to collaborate with? You just like the way they do something particularly? Is there something that you look up?
If I collaborate, I would collaborate with a complementary brand, like a jewelry brand that would suit the kind of garments that Slowthreads has, for
You want to
example.
give a shout out now to anybody that who could perhaps, I mean, if you have specific names, that brands that you want to call out and say you want to collaborate with, or open-ended shout out to?
And there's a brand called Zora, and their kind of jewelry is very contemporary, and
By Titan, right?
were they acquired by Titan? I'm not aware. Are they?
I mean, I thought I saw
Zora, ZOHRA. I don't think.
Oh, Zero HR.
I really think their kind of style of jewelry, and they're minimalistic yet maximalistic in a very different way. They're not blingy, but they're very they're statement pieces, and I think they would complement our brand. So I kind of really
So
like.
maybe you want to give a shout out, somebody who's listening to, watching, if you're connected to that Zora brand
Maybe
of
we could
jewelry.
collaborate with someone like them. Yes,
Okay.
we'd love to do that, and that'll be nice. And most importantly, it'll be good for people to kind of go check out our brand and go to our page. We have a page which is slowthreads.in. That's our website, and also our Instagram page. It's called Slowthreads and You.
So you heard the long story. Maybe before we conclude, an elevator pitch is why they should come and buy it from Slowthreads.
I think what Slowthreads really offers is functional clothing, which is also comfortable, and which, everybody right now wants clothing that's actually versatile. It transitions from day to night effortlessly. And I think that's where my clothes really fit really well. There's something that you can wear with your friends when you're going out, but also something that you can wear to work. So it's very versatile, and that's something that I've been intentional about in terms of our design. So I think for women who like that versatility and who like clothing that's comfortable, easy on the body, fits nicely, and most importantly is mindfully made, they should check our brand out.
Links are there right below this, so try it out. And she is very approachable, so you can reach out. And also, any other shout out other than this, I think, for a brand collaboration? And
no, not really. I mean, it would be wonderful to get on to a good multi-brand platform. I'm still working on those to understand if they are brands that look at other small brands that are authentic, inclusive, and they're happy taking on brands which have regular faces as models instead of typical models. I'm quite happy to.
I really didn't know that is a problem for some multi-brand platforms.
Yes,
Okay.
and they prefer having models in their website because they want they say it's more aesthetically pleasing. So there is, and this is a fun fact. I don't know if you watch this podcast called "What the Fuck" by Nikhil Kamath.
I've heard about it. Not
Yes.
sure.
So the ex-CEO of Myntra spoke about it. He said they literally saw that pictures which had fair faces and not even anything, not even brown skinned, fair faces, typical perfect faces, had the most number of sales. Unfortunately, it's fueled, and I think the reason why this whole system kind of encourages that is because that's what is fueled. People are aspirational, like you said. They want to be that. And so, that's what people look at that and they buy the product. Apparently, those kind of products sell better. The most. They sell
indirectly, he said Indians are racist then. I mean,
we
we
are.
all know it, but we don't want to say it out.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Nanju. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You've been patient with my, flubbering and going on and all of that. So, but thanks so much. It was a nice.
My pleasure. And to the audience and listeners, do follow her work and try it out and come back with feedback as well.
Yes, please. I'd love that. Thanks so much.